Cleaning Nation, good to be here with you. Today is our Q&A where you can ask a question in Facebook. You can email Lindsay at support@growmycleaningcompany.com, Instagram, wherever you are, just give a shout out. This is where you talk to you guys and hit you where you're at. Lindsay, what's our first question?
All right, we're doing an Ask Me Anything here. And Caitlin asked, should a customer happiness manager be an hourly pay or a base pay? Also, how do you structure bonuses based on churn rate?
Man, that's a really good question. So super specific for our kind of higher level clients, we recommend a customer happiness manager, which is just a part-time person whose only job is to make sure you've got happy customers. And so for Caitlin's question on hourly or base, I would really make it results oriented. So the customer happiness manager, most people are going to do some version of like, well, we'll do surveys and kind of see what our customers say. But I'm much more interested in how they act, not what they say. So if I have customers that give adequate or okay surveys, but stay for a long time, that to me is a lot more significant than people are like, I love you, but I'm quitting. I'm not going to continue service. So I'm really going to base it pretty much almost exclusively on churn. You can throw a little bit in there for positive reviews or things like that, but I'm just going to look at churn. So I would look at a baseline of what your churn is, how often your clients are leaving. And, ideally we're only losing 1 to 3% per month, which should be 12 to 36% per year. And my whole goal is for them to decrease churn. And I'm probably going to pay them based on the amount of churn they can bring down, if that makes sense. So it would really be based on performance, not hourly or base.
Got it. All right, let's see here. Next up, we have Jessica. And Jessica said, with the holidays coming up, I'm thinking about offering gift certificates to current clients as a way to get other people interested in recurring cleanings. How could I leverage this to make sure people sign up for recurring services?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there's two ways to go about it. Way one would be just to kind of sell gift certificates for the holiday, like, hey, buy one, buy two, get three, or something like that. But I personally don't love one-time cleanings. And when you sell gift certificates for like a clean or a certain amount of hours of clean, I don't think you're going to get a lot of recurring service from that. I won't say you won't get any, but I just don't think, people that are looking for one-time services are looking for one-time services, and trying to get people who only want a one-time service to buy a recurring service is kind of tough. I'd rather find people who are really interested in recurring services. So the way I would position it is I would find maybe my 5 best clients and just have a conversation with them and give them a gift certificate for free cleaning, but just tell them this is for you to give out to people that you think would be amazing recurring clients like you. You're our perfect client. Here's why. Who do you know that's just like you? And then they could get a recurring and just kind of frame it in such a way where there's no obligation, like they're getting a free cleaning. They don't have to sign up for anything, but we would ask that they maybe give us a good review, give us the opportunity to bid for recurring services. And if they don't like it, that's fine. They can just pass. So it's really just setting it up with who you give it to, as opposed to just handing it out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess just to expand on that, if I may, Mike.
You may.
Yeah. Do you recommend in general pushing promotional stuff in the holidays, like door hangers and whatnot, just because there's so much mail in general around the holidays? Like, how do business owners compete with all the holiday hubbub going on?
That's a really good point. So I hate compete. I'd rather not compete. So one of our clients had asked earlier this week about holiday cards, like how should they be categorized? I don't like sending Christmas, and I love Christmas. It is my favorite holiday. So please don't hear me anti-Christmas, but because your clients are probably going to get 10, 20 Christmas cards, like put it up with the rest, it's almost a waste of money, right? So I'd rather send an Arbor Day card or a Happy Election Day card, or just something where St. Patrick's Day, where it's like you are almost certainly going to be the only one sending them that card. And it'll get some, will you be my Valentine? Sign up for free cleaning now, and we're going to show you we love you by doing a free upgrade to your kitchen, or free organization of a certain room, or getting all the pet hair out of your house, or some fun thing. So I'm honestly not a big fan of holiday cards that are going to get mixed in with the rest. So I think your question was, how do you kind of make your holiday stuff stand out from the hubbub? I'm going to focus more on where they're at and what they're thinking. So are you Are your holidays getting ruined because you're too busy bustling about the house? You can't enjoy time with your family. Let us help you. So it's still more about them and what they're thinking. I think Dan Kennedy said you want to enter the conversations already going on in their head. So that's how I do it. I'm going to talk about what they're talking about. Are you finding with the kids home for winter break, the house gets a lot messier a lot faster? Give us a ring. Let us help you out. So I'm going to meet them where they're at as opposed to just another Merry Christmas, want some cleaning services kind of a thing.
Got it. Got it. All right. Thanks for entertaining my further question for Jessica there, kind of. All right. Next up, we had Kirsty. She said, I had a person reach out to me and say that he and his girlfriend would be interested in the cleaner position. And they asked if I would allow two people to be working together. She said, my gut ultimately tells me no, because what if one person is a fit and the other isn't, and they hoped and intended on both getting hired and working together? Kirsty says, how should I go about the hiring process in this situation?
Well, I would agree with your gut, but for a different reason. So I just don't like anyone dictating to me how I will run or conduct my cleaning company. So if it's your company, you get to decide if I think Lindsay's a better fit with this person this week or that person. But if Lindsay comes in like, I only work with this person, she's not going to be a fit on the team. So immediately they're coming and trying to dictate terms. Here's what we want. Here's how we're willing. It's like, no. That's not how this goes. I don't get to go to Walmart and go, listen, I only do the general manager. I want to personally count the money and I get a free TV every month. Walmart's not going to go, well, let me think that through. Let's run it up the chain. They're just be like, listen, dude, what are you out of your goddamn mind? So no, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, Lindsay comes in and she only works with her husband and they've only worked this time. I was like, God bless you. I'm sure that's what you want to do, but we're not going to do it here. So I'm just going to tell them, I'm not saying I wouldn't hire them both. I'm just going to say one of you has nothing to do with the other. You're complete. I understand you have a relationship outside of this business and that's fine, but that has nothing to do with here. So if you are only willing to work under your crazy terms, and what job on the fit, could you imagine going to work for sales at IBM and be like, this is my girlfriend. We only sell to get like, are you at it? Just the expectation that you would tolerate that right off the bat is telling not just them, but every other employee and really your customers and yourself. This isn't a real business. This is just some weird side hustle thing I have. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think of it as quote unquote a real job. McDonald's, for God's sake. Could I go to McDonald's and be like, I only fry cook if my girlfriend takes the order on the drive-thru? It's such an insane request. So no, we are not going to allow people to dictate any of those things. If they want to work for us, they're going to do what we need, when we need, how we need. And if they're not willing or able to do that, they're just not a fit.
So if you have a group interview, for example, and you find out that there's a couple there that you just find out they're dating or whatever, but they don't dictate any terms like that, and they just seem like a core values fit and they'll work with anyone, would you still be okay, Mike?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
But for a perfect example, Sean was an enrollment coach for us, and Suzanne's now our mindset coach. They're married. Sean is moving on to bigger, better things. Suzanne's still here because they're both people of integrity. It wasn't weird when Sean and we parted friends, so like Sean gave us a finger and ran out, or vice versa. Suzanne wasn't like, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? Like, they both were getting value from being a part of our team that was independent of the fact that they both were here. And I'm sure it was kind of fun working together. And when Suzanne, they come to events, Suzanne always brings Sean and we love seeing him. So obviously for Suzanne, I'm guessing it's fun that we know and love Sean, but that's not part of, you know what I'm saying? It's not part of the criterion for working here, because that would be crazy. So totally okay if they've got a relationship outside of the business. They just have to understand the core. And again, if their core values match, because for us, it's have fun, make money, be real, and help out. So because that's who Suzanne and Sean are, it wouldn't even occur to them to be like, well, Sean quit or I quit, therefore he had, like, one has nothing to do with the other. So if you hire the right people, again, like Lindsay, if your husband had a skill set, which his skill sets are so different than what we need, and he wanted to work here, it'd be like, yeah, I don't think he'd work on your team or for you or you for him. Like, that would be a little weird. But in a just different department, that'd be fine. So totally okay. I shouldn't say I'm totally okay. I'm 98% okay. I might have a question or two just to make sure. But if the people are right fit and they happen to have a relationship and they're healthy people individually, I have no problem with that.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying.
No, these are good. Lindsay's follow-up questions, I think, are as good or better than the, no offense, original question askers, but Lindsay's pretty good at this.
Also, you just gave me a hilarious mental image when you gave that answer of Sean just flipping you off and
She's
leaving.
like, screw you,
Yeah.
dude. Bandic out.
Yeah, because Cleaning Nation Sean is the sweetest, sweetest human being next to Suzanne. She might be
It
the
would
soul.
be ridiculous to picture either of them doing anything. It's that's a great idea when you picture someone on your team doing something horrible, and it's just funny because it's so out of character. You probably got a good fit there. Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting them in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, and we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
All right. Well, speaking of Sean's, this is a female Sean, not the same Sean.
Different Sean, lady.
Different Sean. Yeah, she had a question. She had a few questions. She said, it's been a while since I called our current residential clients to ask for referrals. I'm not sure how to phrase it for best results. And I'm also not sure if I should include an offer. What would you suggest, Mike?
That's a great question. So the big, I don't want to say mistakes, but the big opportunities for improvement I see when people ask for referrals is one, they're not specific enough. So they just go, hey, Lindsay, who do you know that would like that wants cleaning service? And that's too big of a question for Lindsay because she probably knows a lot of people, and she might have church friends and friends from high school and her husband's friends or their couple friends or neighbor friends and the lady that serves her coffee at the breakfast place. Like there's just too many people and it's too overwhelming. But if I said, Lindsay, I love this neighborhood that you're in, do you know any neighbors? Or I know you are in a band, do you have any other, or I know you love music, like I'm going to try and get her to think about a specific, and again, probably the circle of her friends that's most likely to want our services. Do you know any other moms that are busy in your neighborhood? Like I'm going to start getting super specific about probably the best subset of her friends that would be most likely to need our help. And that also helps Lindsay go, because if I go, Lindsay, who do you know needs cleaning? It's like, but I'm like, do you know any moms that have like kids like you that live in a neighborhood that you've just noticed, you're like, oh my God, I'm so busy or so tired? Maybe even you just see it on Instagram. That's a very clear, like, oh my God, I saw a post yesterday from a lady that I know. Like it just really helps her make that connection. So first of all, go specific as opposed to general. And second of all, don't make it a tit for tat situation, right? This isn't a, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Like you give me a lead, I'll give you something free. Because what's going to happen with Lindsay is whatever I could give her that's free isn't going to be worth her kind of reputation or how she wants to be seen with her friends. So if she recommends me and I do a bad job, that costs her something, right? Because she feels like that friend, it's the opposite of a blessing, it's a curse, right? But if I recommend her and she does a good, and or she recommends me, we do a great job and bring joy. Lindsay, it's the same reason we share memes, right? Like we see this thing and I gotta share, like, oh my God, this is funny. And if I keep sharing stupid memes, Lindsay's gonna be like, I don't want to look at his emails anymore. When Mike texts me, I'm not interested, or on Slack or whatever. But if I'm always sending her good stuff, see what I'm saying? So we we crave that social capital more than we crave freebies. And if I refer to Lindsay a cleaning company and she loves it, and then she finds out that I got paid $100 or free cleaning, now Lindsay's like, oh, was it like, obviously Lindsay's married, but say she was single and I introduced her to a guy and and she's like, oh my gosh, we had a first day, it was great. And I'm like, awesome. He gave me $100 to introduce me to a chick I knew. Lindsay would be like, oh yeah, her face, for those of you not watching, is like, that's so gross, right?
So slimy, Mike. Come on.
Yeah, just like, well, the fact that you're married also kind of slimy. I'm
Yeah,
introducing
double
you to
ick.
dudes. Not great.
Come on,
But
man.
if I just was like, I care, I love you, Lindsay, and you're such a sweet lady, and I know I just thought you and he would really enjoy each other's company. That feels great, right? But if all of a sudden I'm getting paid for, and again, there's nothing wrong for for setting people up to get paid. That's a little weird, unless you're in that business and everyone knows it. But you get the idea. When money's involved, all of a sudden I'm worried. Like, oh, I would almost not want, like, if a guy said, hey, I'll give you $100 if you introduce me a cute girl. I'm less incentivized to do so because I'm like, now everything just feels weird. And if Lindsay finds out, she's gonna think less of me. The whole thing's just rotten. But if he's just like, man, I'm such a good guy, and I really would love to meet a quality woman. I'm like, I know a quality woman. So you want to make sure you're paying them in the currency they want, which is social currency, not a free upgrade. And if that guy that I introduced Lindsay to for free, he was like, "Oh, she's so sweet. Thank you. We had such a good time, dude. I owe you dinner next time we're together, or let me," like, that's completely appropriate. So if I want to give a little gift to Lindsay because she referred me as a thank you, not as fee for service, but as a show of appreciation, that's totally fine. But the focus is on Lindsay feeling good about introducing me, not getting something like, in exchange for.
I love that. I've never heard the term social capital or social currency, I think you said. That's exactly what it is. I love that. It's exactly what it is. Okay. We got
Lindsay's
text.
seen most of my coaching. So anytime I get hurt, I'll be like, I haven't heard that. I'm like, all right, that's a win. We got something after all these years we've been working
Yeah.
together. I got something new past Lindsay.
Well, that's the term for exactly what it is. That's like, oh, when you describe it that way, I knew exactly what you're talking about. All right. So she also asked, similar but different. I also want to call some clients who canceled in July, August due to price increases. So what would you suggest for that? Like if she gets a voicemail or it's just I don't know. I feel shot on this because I would feel kind of awkward for that. I think that's a me in my head thing, but like how would you check in on someone that you want to get them back?
Well, you said it perfectly. You're checking in on them,
Yeah.
not trying to get them back. So again, I
Mm,
always love dating because we all get it and it kind of makes sense in that regard.
sure.
So, say I was dating a girl and she broke up with me, right? And I'm God willing, I'm not desperate, but I'm like, I just wonder how she's doing. And if she wanted to spend time together again, I'd be open to that, right? So if I call and be like, hey, Lindsay, it's Mike. I know we broke up, but are you ready to come back? It would be super weird, just not normal. So what I do, I'd call and be like, hey, I was thinking about you. How are you? Like, how's your life? And she's like, oh my gosh, it's great. I started dating a new guy, like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. Like, that's it. Good. I just wanted to hear your voice. I'm so glad you're happy. We should grab coffee sometime. Good to hear your voice. See ya. Like, it's fine, right? Or she's like, uh, thanks for calling. I'm really enjoying being single, but like she's gonna give me kind of some vibes about where she's going, right? So same thing with the cleaning. If I'm calling to be like, hey, do you have a new cleaner? Do you like them better than me? Like, it's kind of weird, and that's why you have that feeling of I don't want to make that call. Like, no one wants to make that call. But if you're just like, no, we're not dating anymore. She's a former client. I'm like, hey, Lindsay, I was just thinking about you. How you doing, girl? She's like, great, awesome. I know you had some kids. You're busy. I know how's things, right? And she's probably going to give me a, yeah, we found a new cleaner. Awesome. Are they taking good care of you? Well, not really. Oh no. And then we can have that conversation. Or, yeah, they're great. I'm so happy for you, Lindsay. Obviously, I loved working with you. If that's the truth, don't say it if it's not. But I just want to see you happy. And if you got people who are taking good care of you, I'm so happy for you. That's it. So I think the weirdness comes in because we're trying to like we think we're trying to get them to do something or talk them into something they don't want to do. Well, of course that's going to be weird. But if you're just calling to check up on them, and if they seem fine, then just be like, awesome. Like, yeah, me and my new boyfriend are living our lives. Great. Like, if I'm trying to like be like, well, what about me? Then that gets weird. But if I'm like, cool, I'm so glad you found somebody. I'm single, but I'm looking if you know anyone. Like, now it can just be a normal like, it's cool. So yeah, just get out of your head that I gotta like talk them into coming back. And I'm just checking on seeing how they're doing. And if they need help, I'll help them. And if they don't, I'm giving myself permission not to try and force something that doesn't need to happen.
Okay, I love that. I feel like a lot of your comparisons come back to dating because it's so easy to compare it to, and
Everybody
there's
gets it. And
so
it's
many
more
good
fun than
analogies.
cleaning because we've all
Yeah,
dated. We've all had bad dates and good dates, and
yeah,
it's easy stuff that we think in business is like, is that normal? You put it in a dating thing where, some guy is paying me to introduce him to Lindsay. It's so obviously weird. And then you
right.
put it into business, you're like, well, it made sense in business, but you take it in dating and you can be like, oh yeah, that wouldn't make sense. Like, what does it make? It's humans, right? Whether it's a romantic relationship or a business, it's still humans interacting with one another. So yeah, I'm glad that I love it's fun. And B, I think people they can see it in dating, even though in business it can seem fuzzy when it comes to romantic relationship. Oh, that's not fuzzy at all. That's just weird.
Also, I don't even think maybe you did this on purpose, but I think it was just a mic thing when you gave that example. You just slid in a little referral opportunity there, like so
Yeah,
thoughtfully. I didn't even notice it. Like, oh, so great! Like the way you did it in the dating quote unquote example was, hey, do you know any other good people? Like
because
it.
it's natural, right? If
Yeah.
Lindsay's happy, I'm not
Mhm.
like, well, screw you then. Like, I'm sure he's a jerk. Like, I'm like, awesome, good for you. And then it really wasn't sneaking anything. It was just how I was thinking. I'm like, I'd be nice if I go, I'm dating as well and she's great. But in my little made up scenario, that wasn't true. I was still single. So I didn't want to be like, well, I'm still a single loser because that's weird.
Womp womp
Yeah. So I'm
womp.
just like, oh, I'm single, but you're such a high caliber lady. You probably know they're good. If you know anyone, let me like it just makes sense. So yeah, and in that one, if yeah, whichever. I guess the big thing is just be natural, be a human. Don't when you call with this intent to manipulate, it's weird. But when you call, just like I'm going to check in, and if she's single and wants to have coffee, we'll have coffee. And if she's not interested in coffee, she'll just know she's got a friend out here, and I wanted to say hi, and I was thinking about her, even though we're not dating or even though we're not cleaning for them anymore. Just being a human being, like it's a great. I just think it's a great characteristic to just be like, I care about you when you're a client, I care about you not a client. Like we can just be friends. It can be, I can want good things for you, even if there's no financial incentive for me.
Nice. Got it. Well, Mike, that's all I got for today, actually.
Good. Those are good questions. You did good this week, Lindsay. All right, guys, gals, if these are helpful, but you're like, I have questions and not those questions, I need someone to help me out specifically. Feel free to reach out. All we do every day, all day is help owners of cleaning companies, and we love doing that. We've got lots of coaches. So if you need some help, just reach out. Let us know what's shaking, and we'll do what we can to help. Have a great day. Talk soon. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast. But if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge. And I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.